Hey up everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing me tips for round 11 of the 2023 NRL season. This week's got some massive games coming up, especially on the Sunday, the Battle of the Beaches between Manly and Cronulla. But let's start off with the first match, which is kicking off on Thursday night. And the first match on the Thursday is between Melbourne and Brisbane. This one is being played at Emu Park in Melbourne. It sees Melbourne in 6th place at the moment and Brisbane top of the league. Since entering the competition in 1998, Melbourne have played Brisbane more than any other team that they've come up against. They've played them 52 times and their record against them is quite unbelievable. They've won 38 of those. Brisbane's only won 13 times and there's been one draw. Brisbane's last victory over Melbourne were on the 26th of August 2016 and they've only beaten Melbourne 4 times since they beat them in the 2006 NRL Grand Final, which is an incredible record, just an amazing hoodoo that Melbourne just seem to have over Brisbane. Melbourne coming to this match off a loss, Brisbane coming into it off a win. With this fixture, normally I would go for Melbourne at home to win, but there's just something about Brisbane this year that's different than previous Brisbane sides in the last couple of years. So I'm going to take a bit of a risk and I'm going to go for Brisbane to win 1-12 there against Melbourne on the Thursday night. I believe that they can do it, and I think that they can end this hoodoo of some sorts against Melbourne on the Thursday. And the first match on the Friday is between Canterbury-Bankstown and New Zealand. It sees Canterbury in 15th place, New Zealand in 11th place, and this match is being played at Stadium Australia. New Zealand coming to this match having lost their last 3 games in the league, but against Canterbury-Bankstown they've won their last 5 matches against them in the NRL. This is a really tough match to call because both sides come into this fixture off a loss, and both sides have demonstrated throughout the year that they can score points, but they've also demonstrated that at times the defence is quite poor. I think the lead in this match might change several times. I think Canterbury especially are a side that don't give up, especially when they're behind on the scoreboard. They showed that against Canberra. They were never really out of the game, even though Canberra went on to win it. With New Zealand as well, they've had some good patches this year. But for this match, I'm going to go for Canterbury-Bankstown to win 1-12 there on the Friday night. And the main match on the Friday is between Penrith and Sydney Roosters. This one sees Penrith in 3rd place, Sydney Roosters in 8th place, and this match is being played at Penrith Stadium. I'm pretty sure on Friday night that Matt Thompson will mention that this is a big rivalry and both teams hate each other, but Matt Thompson's thick as mince, and I'm pretty sure most of my viewers know that. And I've done a video on our Penrith and Sydney Roosters rivals, and I think I thoroughly debunked that. But anyway, getting back to the video, Penrith have won their last 7 fixtures against Sydney Roosters in the NRL. Eastern Suburbs' last victory over Penrith were in 2019, round 24 at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Throughout this year so far, I haven't been that impressed with Eastern Suburbs. I think that they haven't been playing to their potential and they've had some disappointing losses this year along the way. With Penrith, even though they haven't been playing at their best, most of the weeks that they've played so far this season, they've been getting the result, and that shows the quality of the team overall. For this match, I'm going to go for Penrith to win 1-12. I think Eastern Suburbs will put up a bit of a fight, but I can't really tip them the way that they've been playing at the moment, so I'm going to go for Penrith to win 1-12 there at Penrith Stadium. And the first match on Super Saturday is between South Sydney and West Tigers. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. It sees South Sydney in 2nd place at the moment and West Tigers still rooted at the foot of the table. South Sydney have won 7 of the last 10 encounters against the West Tigers in the NRL. South Sydney coming to this fixture with a bit of form behind them, and also West Tigers have won their last 2 matches in the NRL. Now, I might sound controversial here. I know I might annoy a couple of people, but it's just my personal opinion. I think that West Tigers, in their 2 victories that they've had over Penrith and St George, have been a bit lucky. Against Penrith, Taruva and Cleary dropped the ball over the line when they normally would have scored tries. And as we saw in the narrow victory they had over St George, really, towards the end of that game, in the last minute, they should have scored St George. They really should have won that match over the West Tigers. As most of my viewers would have seen, St George made a break with a minute to go. The ball got out to Sully there. He had the option to draw and pass to Ravalawa. Ravalawa would have scored, or he could have gone himself. And he chose neither option. He tried a daft flick pass which went to nobody, and then Ravalawa got it, but by that time West Tigers had regrouped and pushed him over the sideline. Now, against most other teams, that's a try, and West Tigers lose the game, but anyway, they've won their last 2 matches, and against South Sydney, this is going to be the ultimate test against them. And I think against South Sydney don't make them type of errors, especially this year. So I'm going to go for South Sydney to win 1-12 there on the Super Saturday over West Tigers. And the second match on Super Saturday is between North Queensland and St George. It sees North Queensland in 14th place, St George in 16th place. And this match is being played at the Queensland Country-Bank Stadium in Townsville. North Queensland have won their last 3 matches against St George, and they've won 6 of the last 10 against them. St George have only won 2 games in Townsville since 2011. North Queensland come into this match with a win. St George come into it with a loss. Thank you, Moses Suli. But getting back to North Queensland, with their match last week against Eastern Suburbs, they played after West Tigers and St George in Magic Round, and with West Tigers winning, North Queensland were officially bottom of the table. And I bet you that gave the players a real wake-up call, because they went, okay, we're officially bottom. As it stands, we have to do something against Sydney Roosters. And they did that on the Sunday there at Magic Round. For this match, I think it will be a high-scoring affair, just like some of the other matches this week. But I will go for North Queensland to win at home. I'll go for them to win 13 plus over St George. I think St George will be competitive for the most part, but I think that home advantage for North Queensland, the humidity up there and some other factors will mean that North Queensland will win the match 13 plus over St George in Townsville. And the final match of Super Saturday is between Canberra and Parramatta. This one's being played at Bruce Stadium. It sees Canberra in 9th place at the moment and Parramatta in 13th. Parramatta have won 5 of their last 6 matches against Canberra in the league, and they've won their last 2 matches at Bruce Stadium. However, Parramatta's record at the ground is pretty poor overall. Since 1991, they've only beaten Canberra 6 times. Canberra coming into this fixture with a win. With Parramatta, I watched the game against the Gold Coast, and I can sum it up in one word: frustrating. I can sum it also up in a couple of key moments. Clint Gutherson getting sin bins, where Gold Coast scored 2 of their tries when he was off the field. Mitchell Moses' goal kicking, I think he kicked 1 from far. And then also Gutherson throwing an intercept pass when it was never on, and Gold Coast scored a try off that, and they ended up losing by 2 points. So although I thought that Parramatta weren't awful, it's just them 3 key moments, I think, that really cost them against the Gold Coast, and very frustrating that they lost against the Gold Coast at Magic Round on Sunday. Going into this match as well, Mitchell Moses will be out for 1 week due to mandatory protocols around concussion, so that's a massive blow for Parramatta. For this game, I'm going to go for Canberra to win 1-12. I think that's this could be another high-scoring match, but just the loss of Mitchell Moses is going to be a huge one for Parramatta, and I don't really see them winning without him, so I'm going to go for Canberra to win 1-12 there at Bruce Stadium. The first match on the Sunday is between Newcastle and the Gold Coast. This one's being played at McDonald Jones Stadium. Newcastle in 12th, Gold Coast in 7th. Gold Coast have won 6 of the last 10 matches in the league between these 2 sides. However, the last time the Gold Coast won at McDonald Jones Stadium were in round 24 of the 2016 NRL season. Newcastle coming into this match off a bye. They'll be fresh. With the Gold Coast, as I just mentioned, they beat Parramatta at Magic Round, but even though they won, I don't think that they were great or that convincing. They scored 2 of their tries when Parramatta were a man down. They scored another try off an intercept, and pretty much the only reason why they won is because Mitchell Moses had a bad night with the goal kicking. So on top of that, they also had a good lead over Parramatta at one stage of the game, and once again they were chased down, which has been demonstrated a couple of times this year, where they just cannot hold on to a lead. For this match, I'm going to go for Newcastle to win 1-12. They're coming into the match fresher than the Gold Coast, coming off that bye, and also they've got a good record there against the Gold Coast in Newcastle, and also the fact that I weren't too impressed with how the Gold Coast played against Parramatta. So that's me 3 reasons why I think Newcastle will win. So I'm going to go Newcastle to win 1-12. And the final match to close out round 11 is one of the great rivalries, Manly-Warringah against Cronulla-Sutherland in the Battle of the Beaches. It sees Manly in 10th place at the moment, Cronulla in 4th, and this one's being played at Brookvale Oval. Although it's one of the best rivalries in the NRL, it's also one of the most one-sided. There's been 96 matches played between the two sides. Cronulla have only 27 victories, Manly have 67, and there's been 2 draws. Cronulla also have a very poor record at Brookvale Oval. Since 1967, Cronulla have only won 7 matches at Brookvale Oval. Both of these teams come into this fixture off a bad loss at Magic Round. Both teams were humbled at the event at Suncorp Stadium. Both will be looking to get back in the winner's circle, and both of them will be trying to look to restore some pride. But I'm going to go for Manly to win this match, even though Cronulla's been playing better this year. Just that hoodoo, it's an incredible record or spell that they've got over Cronulla Manly, where they just seem to win all the time against them. So I'm going to have to go for Manly to win 1-12. I think that they'll beat Cronulla in the Battle of the Beaches there at Brookvale Oval. So that concludes my video for round 11 of the 2023 NRL season. I hope you enjoyed these tips. Let me know in the comment section below who you're tipping. And thanks to everyone for making my video the second most watched NRL tipping video on YouTube last week. It's much appreciated. And it was also one of my most watched videos ever in the channel's history. So thank you for that. If you like Rugby League History on YouTube, you can also check me out on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. I got links in the description below for those. And also I run a history of football page as well. If you like football, go and check that out. But anyways, this has been Rugby League History, and I'll catch you all later in the next one. Alright, tatty bye for now.